Hello, good evening, captains. Welcome back to another episode. My name is Adam, and this is prepared version 4.3. Bit of an overcast, kind of shadowy day. Oh, hello, frames are really not good. Probably the weather's fault. It is looking a bit abysmal up there. Active sky and Skyforce 3D is what's given us that glorious view up there, and doing a fine job. And also got some Invectex sky colors going on. Down on the runway and the airport currently, which we are in Philadelphia International. It's being taken care of by Rex Airports. And all the scenery you see is Orbex Global Base, Orbex Vector, and Terraflora trees. And that's really it. And then plus whatever P3D is giving us. And that's all she wrote. What I have got is a bit of a special treat today. There is... I've got some freeware airports to put in, which usually I've got payware airports to put in. But today... it's freeware, and it's from Sunny. What's it called again? Sun Sky or Sun Sky Jets. It's their Kilo Papa Hulu. I was going to say Hotel Lima, Philadelphia International, and we're going to install that. But first, we are going to take off into the air, and we're going to see what it looks like pre-installation. See how the airport over there changes. As you can see, it's just the generic Rex airports, and after you've taken off from about 20 different airports as I have, they all begin to look the same. As good as they are, as good textures as they are, and as nice as everything is, but it's just the same old, same old. Some planes there, some cargo carrier planes. Philadelphia International, I believe, is quite a big airport as well, so it spans quite a big area. Now, I'm not too sure exactly in relation to where it is in the United States. Like, is it in Washington? Let me just have a look at my map. Yes, it is. So, in a previous video, we flew over Washington X from Dreswick Design. I installed that and that basically takes care of almost like the Washington scenery, and gives you some of the airports in the Washington area. It doesn't take care of this one though, and that's why I decided to try my hand at this one. So some of the scenery could possibly be from that if it's in the local area, but I don't know exactly. We are in Washington DC, but I'm not too sure exactly in which direction that Washington X scenery is. And that's probably why my frames are a little bit low, because I used to untick the boxes in the config files, in the scenery library, sorry, for areas that I was not flying in. And I'm sure many people will tell you, if you're not flying in that area, just untick the box because it's going to take ages to load. But I found that I was always getting errors and problems in the sim. Textures weren't loading fast. Things were always problematic when I did that. So I've stopped unticking boxes and just leave that alone. And it's the add-ons that I tend to untick now. And, if I'm not flying in that area, I will untick that add-on. But most of the time, I just kind of leave it, to be honest. So we're going to do a fly low over the airport here. Then we're going to see... Oh, hello. There's an Airbus just taking off there. Looks like I've got my ATC all on here. Yep. So let's see what it looks like. Do a little low pass. It's the same old textures, isn't it, for the taxiway, the jetways, even the... what you call it there? I don't think... GSX is loading. Oh yes it is. There it is. GX is loaded. Okay. Oh, gotta get it off now. How do I get that off? Select an airport. Oh gosh. Oh, it looks like we end up landing. We might as well just land this plane now, to be honest. Let's just land the plane. There we go. No, just there we go. It's gone. Okay, so there we go. A bit of a bumpy landing. I wasn't expecting to land, but okay, we did. So in the next part of this video, I'm going to go away. I'm going to install Philadelphia International, and we're going to come back and we're going to see what it's like. Until then, guys, I'll see you in a mo.
Hello, welcome back to the second half of this video, and we're in Philadelphia International, where we've loaded a Freeware airport by, I believe it's SunSky. They do some really good Freeware stuff, and this is Philadelphia International. So, having a look around, I can already see that there's stuff been added. There's some behind the aircraft there. There was some fixtures at the end of the runway. Airport textures look a lot different now. And landscape-wise, I can see trees. And I'm sure they weren't there before. So, let's start this engine off now. Like before, we got to Sky and Skyforce Rex doing its thing in the sky. Let's fly around and let's see what we can see. So, again, I went to go edit this video, and for some reason, my commentary on the second half of the video was just gone. Like, I don't know what's going on. So, I think I might need to look into getting a new microphone. So, if there's anybody who's got any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. So, I'm going to take off here now. Frames might be a little bit choppy. This is freeware, so guaranteed results are not always there. But just looking around, textures on the runway, textures on the taxiway, they do look really nice. They do look good. I can see markings, maybe not clearly there. There's airplanes there. Is that UPS cargo side? And then on the left, you've got the commercial side. Buildings look okay. I mean, they're not like payware level airports, but they do look a lot better than what Rex Airports gives us. I mean, they are literally bare bones generic, you know, terminals and gates and everything else. But these, there's a lot more detail in these buildings. A lot more terminals, a lot more gates, which means a lot more parking and planes. So, I mean, the airport layout itself looks a lot different. It looks like it's expanded. The textures look realistic, to be fair. I mean, this is really good for freeware. And I believe it was freeware for FSX. And I've just sort of coded it to work within P3D, you know, which isn't too hard. I mean, it's so easy to do. But I think this was designed for FSX. So, integration with the rest of the landscape is pretty darn good. Like, you can't see a proper join. I'm guessing that river there is where the join is somewhere. But Orbex would be doing the surrounding sides. And to be honest, I think I can see where the scenery kind of ends, because you can see the trees of the autumn for Orbex starting. So all this here that you saw on the left-hand side of the airplane is part of the airport pack, as it's green, and then of course you've got all the leaves of everywhere. That's part of Orbex. The oh gosh, oh almost bit it then. River looks nice. Nice little boat there, container ship by the looks of it. So the port has been done. I think I'm going to try and come down and land on one of these runways after doing a turn of the airport here. I'm totally happy with this. I mean, this is like photorealistic, looking real good, considering it's freeware as well. There are some fantastic freeware products out there if you look. I mean, unbelievable that they're freeware, you know. But I'm totally happy with this. Airport's alive and kicking. There's planes there. Okay, it's live and kicking because of my AI traffic program, but it's a lot of work's gone into this. You know, textures look photoreal. I'm going to do a flyby of the tower here. Bit of Top Gun here. You know, for when the movie comes out next year. I'm totally happy. Buildings look really nicely rendered. You alright, guys? And everything looks really. Oh, is that a freeway down there? It's like a motorway that's been modeled within the airport. You know, see how low can you go? You know, yeah, I can't rave about this enough. I'm probably gonna do in the future some videos about freeware, airports, sceneries, and planes in general, because I find it's a mixed bag. You know, sometimes you can get really, really good freeware products. Other times you can get really, really poor freeware products, and very rarely you can get products that are freeware that just destroy your sim and crash it completely. Point in case, that happened to me once. I always feel that Africa is kind of like, there's not much stuff for it, and I found this one package that said it had replacement textures for Africa, and it seemed like some sort of global base just for Africa, with sort of like land class placement as well. And I was like, well, that'd be cool. I'll get that. I'll integrate that in, and we'll see what it looks like. And it just completely destroyed the scenery library, the config file, and my sim, and it just would not load up no matter what I tried. So I had to do a complete reinstall, and that's what led to these videos that I do now. It's basically me charting on me putting all the add-ons back in. So you know, those of you who've been watching all the videos, you've been able to see the gradual development over time of the sim, the ups and downs, and sort of a lot of questions answered, a lot of things worked out. And I've learned a lot just by doing this process. I'm kind of almost in a weird way glad it happened, because I learned a lot. I learned how to streamline the sim and the computer to get them working in harmony for the best performance. Like right now, I think in the video, you know, I haven't reached that level. Obviously, I'm doing this commentary from much further on when I did this video. So right now in my sim that I have today, which I still do videos for, and like there will be a time when we catch up to current videos, so you'll be able to see what my sim looks like now. And it's totally, performance is just so smooth, the graphics are so good, probably more so than you're seeing in the videos right now. Even though these videos are in 4K, my sim still looks a lot better now than it does in these videos for some reason. So I look forward to seeing all your comments about that when we catch up. But back to this one, Philadelphia. Part of the scenery of the airport is the surrounding area, and I do have Philadelphia X from, I think it's Dreswick Design, in the sim, which covers the city of Philadelphia, I believe. And so would affect some of these areas here, but I'm not sure where they are in relation to Philadelphia International, which is just what the airport covers. So I think it's best to turn back to the airport, really. Yeah. It's getting a bit foggy. I do one thing I do like is the water. You know, the water textures, they look really nice. And I mean, I think it's just like seeing. One thing I found out as well, when you go to cockpit mode, you see like a true glass effect on the windscreen. So if you basically had a home cockpit and you only use the monitor as your viewpoint, you would have true glass on every aircraft, because it happens like if it was raining, you would see the water droplets on the windscreen, which only happen in the virtual cockpit if you've got true glass installed in the aircraft. But without true glass, it happens on every aircraft when you're in cockpit mode. It's really weird. So that's like one sort of motivation to build your own cockpit, really. Okay, so let's come down onto this runway now. I don't think this was the same runway we landed on before, but looking around, you can see where Orbex is clearly. You know, the orange autumn colored trees off to the left and right, and then a little bit of a narrow strip coming up is where the airport is. I believe on the right and left of our plane right now is still Orbex. That's not where the airport has covered. But you kind of can see the line for the water and the land of where the airport does cover. So as we approach here, the textures on the runway, I think they've changed a lot. They look a lot dirtier, a lot more realistic as well than what Rex was giving us. You know, to be honest, I'm getting a bit bored with Rex now. Like, after so many airports, you know, it does look good. Don't get me wrong. They're in HD. They look fine. But to be honest, when you fly to so many different airports and then they all start looking the same, it kind of loses its magic a little bit. And you're kind of left going, is that it? You know, and then you're wanting to install payware airports. So, yeah, it might replace completely all your default airports without touching your payware ones, which is great for those little strips and those little airports that you might not have flown to. But I think it's definitely, you've got to have payware airports, and you've got to have airports that have had love and attention put into them. Orbex do a fantastic freeware package for airports all over North America, Europe, and Australia, and they're worth checking out. You can get a list of the airports. I've got a list for North America, and it covers South America as well, and it's all allocated out by state, and it looks really fantastic. Go check them out. But I think for this video, that's it. We've had it now. We've checked out Philadelphia International. This is going to stay in the sim. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Check me out in the next video where we go who knows where. And I'll see you all then. Keep it flying, guys. Bye-bye.